Welcome to the Delhi Financial Ethics Training. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here as employees of our company. We all adhere to ethics, and we wanted to thank you again for just being part of this training and taking part of it. First of all, as we look at SUNY Delhi, we look into our mission statement. And we know we started SUNY Delhi in 2007 as part of the financial crash. We started as an ethical-based business in insurance, investments, and loans because we wanted to make sure that we could continue to serve the needs of all our students and the community at large. And that was the main reason why we got involved. And we all know that, and that's why we're here today. Code of Ethics and Business Conduct. Within our Code of Ethics, we can see that our business conducts and applies to all employees and directors of SUNY Delhi. These policies and standards do not alter the at-will employment relationship that we currently have with each other. We recognize your rights to resign at any time. We hope you don't, because we want to build an ethic value team, and we feel that you're part of that team as well. So when we start drilling into the sections of our ethics manual, we see that in section 1 we broke it down by in the workplace. And there's just a few basic points that we always want to adhere to when we're in the workplace. Respect, equal employment opportunity, compliance with immigration laws, and sexual harassment and other discrimination harassments. We are 100% committed to non-discriminatory acts in our workplace. Not only is it an ethical value that we don't want people to cross in our organization, it's also a legal one. And not only is it an ethic violation that could cause you to lose your job, but you could be prosecuted to the full extent of the law as well. So some of the other pieces of respect is just basically treat others how we want to be treated. That's plain and simple. We all know that. As we drill in more, we always adhere as managers and team members to have committed to have a diverse workforce. That's what makes us so successful at everything we do. We want to be diverse, have great ideas coming from all angles. And of course, we want to comply with immigration laws from the federal and state levels. We work to do what we can. Again, as we touched on, sexual harassment and discrimination of any kind, again, is not only an ethical violation, but it's a violation of the law. We don't want, it's a breach of trust. These violations of laws that we just can't have our employees crossing. Section 2 in our manual, we talk about the conflict of interest. This is when it starts to drill into the fact that we also have people ask, well, what is a conflict of interest? Basically, a conflict of interest exists when you have an outside interest that interferes with your responsibilities to Delhi or affects your ability to act in the best interest of Delhi Financial and the customers. Basically, we want to try to avoid all conflicts of interest. So if you have any questions, definitely contact our human resource department or our legal department if you have any questions. And you can even talk to your manager if you have questions that relate to any conflict of interest. So when we look at it from a corporate opportunity, of course we want our employees to engage in activities outside of SUNY Delhi. We also have people in outside opportunities that consist being involved in communities. They're also involved in for-profit and non-profit organizations. There are cases, however, in which organizations have business relationships with SUNY, with Delhi Financial, or in which we handle confident information. There just might be a conflict of interest, and we want all of you as employees to be aware of that. So when you take directorship and outside business activities, when you engage in those, ask yourself the question, if I recently started here as a personal banker and I also have a real estate license, how does planning to work as a residential real estate agent on the side, will that be a possible conflict of interest? Well, yes. As a personal banker, this outside activity will also be considered a conflict of interest. You're a real estate agent and you may be recommending banks to potential buyers or sellers that need an opportunity. So that could possibly be. So again, contact the management or human resources, and we can further guide you through that so we have all legal protections for yourself and others. And again, basically, it's your fiduciary appointment. You may not accept any appointment, again, that continues to act as a fiduciary or co-fiduciary on any estate, trust, agency, guardianship, or custodialship. Basically, any account that Delhi Financial handles, we don't want you to also handle that where you benefit from that profit. So also, if we look into Section 3 of our manual, we also see the fact that we have compliance with laws, rules, and regulations. And as us being in the banking industry, we're highly regulated in those areas, from insurance, investments, and we want to make sure everybody's in compliance with, and also know about, we don't take any bribes. Antitrust laws, we have to make sure that our business is on up and up. This is to the directors, employees of all levels. Unauthorized advice and insider trading. This is where we can't be recommending information. If you know stuff about business per se and you're recommending it for trades, that could be an issue where you could be facing insider trading violations. And we don't want any of our employees to be in that predicament where they feel that now they're in a legal situation. So we just try to make sure we avoid that situation. Now we also know the laws around banking, finance, insurance are constantly changing. So some of them, as we know, are the Banking Security Act, Anti-Money Laundering, the Fair Lending, Foreign Corruption Practice Act, Implicit Securities Rules, including pay-to-play provisions, mutual fund securities, corporate opportunities, insider information, and trading on securities. These are all government regulations. If you have questions, please contact HR or our legal team. And we also know there's no way whatsoever should we be taking bribes to open accounts or any of them lines. And as the antitrust goes, we want to make sure that our directors and board of directors are making sure that we adhere to that, so we don't have to go up against government regulation when the time comes. Unauthorized advice is huge. We want to make sure, because sometimes employees are occasionally asked by customers to offer up opinions on legal or tax matters. Delhi Financial is legally prohibited from doing anything that can be construed as unauthorized practice to law. So basically, if you are asked to recommend a professional service that are not provided through Delhi Services own referral sources, for instance, if you ask for advice about real estate agents or attorneys, you may provide a list of service qualified sources without indicating favoritism or making a specific recommendation. And that's why we just wanted to adhere to make sure we're not pushing or drilling or driving our employees to any area that they may feel pressured into a deal or whatever, however that may be perceived by them or government regulations. Again, we touched on all these, and another point is your Delhi Financial 401k savings plan. That's a big part that we always get questions, especially in our employee ethical training. There's ethical areas around that as well. You may not use your Delhi Financial 401k plan as a vehicle for excessive short-term trading of funds, which include taking advances of either stale prices or pricing anomalies, or basically any net value of mutual funds. This type of activity is often referred to as market timing trading and can cause harm to the plan participants and the long-term shareholder of the mutual fund. We just want to make sure employees know that, because sometimes the mutual fund and 401k investment vehicle is to build a long-term savings for retirement. It's not for market timing, try to trade in and out of funds. It's really not what it's built for. And if you want to do that, you can talk to one of our legal teams, or even the Fidelity or the other representatives, TA CREF, that back these funds for our 401ks, to see about opening up a broker account with them, and you can trade on your own time with your own money as well. Fiduciary responsibility. Again, your personal financial matters should be handled with prudence of all time. Employees' privileges carry the responsibility. Delhi products and services. Basically, You and your family are prohibited from borrowing money or from lending money to customers other than financial institutions. So this policy is intended to keep you from borrowing or lending money to a family member or to a other individual where a personal relationship exists independently of business of Delhi Financial. And this is where you'll get into trouble because we don't want this mixed board relationships where board members are giving advances to family members, and then we have a regulation standpoint where we're getting off the book transactions. So we want to be clear that we are adhering to all those loan and that they're highly documented and they're related to business ventures only. Finance management and disclosure. So senior management and senior officers and directors are responsible for full, fair, accurate timing and understanding disclosure of our periodic reports that we file with the SEC. The Federal Reserve and other primary regulations of the company and its affiliates. So we know we have to do these paperwork, we need to do them on time. And as if that's part of your team and you need backup or assistance with that, make sure you step up and ask for help because it's crucial that we have these financial documents out on time so that we're able to fairly disclose what we're doing with loans, investments, so the government knows and also our investors and our shareholders, members of our organization know what we're doing. Make sure we have internal controls. Basically, we have a high level of checks and balances with our between our CEO, the separation of that, and the chairman, the audit committee, and the board of directors. We want to make sure we're definitely covering each other and there's no falsification of records, document retention. We want to make sure all regulatory disclosures are made. And it's just crucial that these internal accounting controls and record keeping and procedures have been established in order for Delhi to meet both legal and business requirements. And like I said before, we're definitely highly expected you to understand and adhere to these controls and policies, and that's why the falsification of records is not something you should ever even think about doing of our books to make them balance. We have to make sure that these relate also not only to our Delhi customers, Delhi Financial, but to our customers and suppliers. And it's basically, this is where document retrieval also comes in too. The firm's record keeper policy must include policies for records and document retention and destruction. We have to make sure that we're safely keeping track and we're definitely not getting into a situation where we may lead our information to get leaked out or hacked. So we have to make sure our information is highly locked down. No documented record may be destroyed also. When it comes to advising others, we must hang on to all this if we're ever called. All email correspondence as well are stored on a central server and they will be stored for at least 10 years. So we need this information to be highly, so don't be trying to delete emails if something happens within our organization. Be clear and upfront about it. And like I stated before, a lot of our digital records have been backed up, so will be covered in that arena. The regulatory disclosure is crucial that Delhi disclose of regulatory authorities and investments, including regulatory filing, to compete in accurate timing and understanding. And that just, everybody here has to do their job in part to get our SEC documents out on time. Protection and proper use of company assets. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and training partner, Lisa, and where she's going to continue on with the training, and I'll be helping where I can. So as it relates to the customer information, you must not assess customer information and use customer information except for the appropriate business purpose, and you must protect it with confidentiality and security in customer information. Again, we don't want information leaking out, company getting hacked, because this will just lead to more financial trouble for us, or basically regulatory issues where we'll have to come down the pike on. Delhi Financial's information, you must keep it secure and a non-public information about Delhi, such as you shall only share with the corporation with other employees who need to know. And the information to perform their duties. Consult with your manager if you have any questions, because this need-to-know basis is based on the fact of who and what type of security level that they need to know. And just remember, any assets you create for Delhi Financial or while using Delhi Financial resources are corporation property and remain the property even if you leave Delhi Financial. So you can't be taking stuff with you if you happen to depart. And these are important because these could lead to criminal suits against you, civil suits. And we're trying to protect you as our employees and our staff. We respect and we want you to be continually safe. So again, we're trying to make these code of ethics not only for us, but also apply to our intellectual property, but also to our suppliers. We want to keep our suppliers need to keep their information safe, stuff that we supply to them, and also technology and assets. We must properly, care for the products and protect Delhi's property and assets, which should be used for legitimate business only. And we have a whole laundry list of basically, of course I knew that, but there's no stealing, embezzlements, misappropriating funds, use Delhi assets for personal gain or advantages, remove Delhi financial assets from the facility unless you have manager's approval. There should be no one doing that. That's why we have armored trucks coming to bring the money. Use Delhi Financial's stationery for anything personal, or misuse your internet, phone, or email privileges. The corporation's private computers and phone systems are primarily for business purposes and subject to review or monitoring. So and we want to know that they may be recorded at any time without notice or permission, and we just want to basically put that out there. So it's because we're a high regulated industry that we have to protect ourselves, not only from the customer standpoint, but also from the employee standpoint. We have to protect each other, we have to respect each other and grow our company, respect each other, not only from a respect standpoint, but from a financial and from a technology and corporate standpoint. And as it notes, we have a whole list of financial assets listed on page 16 of our manual. Basically, the financial assets are, some of them quickly, are computer software. We just want to make sure we covered them all. Reports, files, supplies, ideas, technologies, records, database, monies and funds, corporate. A lot of the computers that we use, a lot of those are covered if you have questions. Section 6, we also talk about the administration. At Delhi Financial, our character is one of our most treasured assets. So we talk about that. And we also drill into the fact that Delhi Financials, we have that reputation based on earnings through honesty and integrity of our employees, officers, and directors. So not only are we trying to adhere to the reporting of any, and we want our staff to feel safe and legal. So if they have any legal or ethical behavior or points that they see, that they want to feel safe in being able to point them out to other staff or management or our legal team. We have a very strict anti-retaliation policy. There will never be any retaliation against someone for reporting activity that they see in good faith believed as a violation of the law. We also have an anonymous hotline. If anyone has any questions, they can call this hotline if they want to do it anonymously. If they don't feel comfortable going to the management and reporting these activities, they can also contact 1-800-ETHICAL or 1-888-384-4225. And that will be able to report any activity that you feel suspicious or may be in violations to our code of ethics that we have put in place. We want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to reach out, either if you don't feel safe going directly to a management or HR, that you have this anonymous outlet. You can also go to our webpage and place your concerns there as well. But like I said before, always feel free to, there's no risk, and this is why we're in place to do what we do, is because of good employees like yourself step up and are able to report and keep us in line if we do happen to see different things going awry. We want to protect our company and assets to the full potential. Responsibility to improving conduct. Basically, Delhi Financial reporting person will listen carefully to their concerns. So if this is your role, make sure you are listening carefully to their concerns and assure the employee that the problem will be dealt with. I mean, nobody wants to feel like their words are falling on deaf ears. Make sure you tell the staff member that this will be dealt with, you will look into it, and you will clearly state and actually do what you say you're going to do. If this is your role, make sure you follow up with that staff member to know that you actually looked into this situation. So disciplinary action for illegal or unethical behavior, basically it may include just a basic warning. We could give you probation, suspension, or you could be let go, and it's all depending on the seriousness of the misconduct. So if we have all levels from warnings to dismissals. Employees should also know that certain serious actions prohibited by the ethical code may lead to criminal prosecution. So if it's not only an ethical violation that you cross as employees, or you turn somebody else in for, know that they will also possibly face criminal prosecution. But again, if that is going on in our organization, we want you to feel comfortable and safe to bring it out, because that makes us a better team, gives better value to our customers, gives better value to our shareholders and members and customers in general, and we want to make sure we're giving that. So as you can see in section 7 of our code of business, we have a certificate, and here we just break down the points, and we just basically state that as applying to my work responsibilities, I will deal honestly and ethically with Delhi Financial and on Delhi Financial's behalf in all matters. I will avoid actual or apparent conflicts with Delhi's interests. I will advance Delhi Financial's business interests when the opportunities do so arise. I will comply with the Delhi Financial standards, policies, and procedures regarding gifts, meals, and entertainment. Also, it continues. It says, I will assure the accurate integrity of the Delhi Financial books and records, if you're in accounting, and everybody throughout the organization. We're stating we will do this, because we will do this. I will protect the confidentiality information of customers and others which I receive in the course of conduct. I will ensure that in all the reports of the documents filed and submitted to the SEC, that the public communication made by Delhi Financial disclosure are fair, accurate, and timely, and they're understandable. I will also comply with the laws, regulations, and so that we don't have any conflicts in our countries that we do business in. I will comply with Delhi Financial standards and policies. And we just continue, and we end off with, I will protect Delhi Financial's assets and promote their efficient and legitimate business use. I will protect Delhi Financial's confidential information. I will protect the health and safety of Delhi Financial employees, and I will use Delhi Financial electronic media for legitimate business use. And this is just our certificate of code of basically stating that we'll abide by the code of ethic behavior. And that's why we're here. We're all here to better not only SUNY Delhi Financial, but also to better ourselves as employees, staff members. We're here to grow, learn, and we thank you for being part of our team. It's you who make us who we are. We truly appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you.